Have you ever felt like you're trying to move forward in life, but something invisible keeps pulling you back? Why do certain emotional patterns repeat, no matter how much you change your external circumstances? What if the resistance isn't out there, but rooted deep within, shaped by your earliest emotional blueprint, your relationship with your mother? Carl Jung believed that until we understand these core influences, we stay stuck in loops of fear, insecurity, and longing. This isn't about blaming anyone, it's about gaining clarity. It's about reclaiming your story from the very first chapter. By understanding the forces that shaped us early on, we can break free from old patterns and take ownership of our lives. That clarity gives us the power to move forward with intention. Before we begin, if you value deep, transformative insights like this, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Now, let's dive in. From the moment we enter the world, the mother becomes our first mirror, our emotional guide. Carl Jung saw her not just as a person, but as a powerful archetype, a deep psychological image embedded in our unconscious. This archetype shapes our experience of love, safety, identity, and connection. Whether your mother was nurturing or distant, supportive, or critical, the emotional imprint she left became the opening line of your life story, setting the emotional tone for everything that followed. That early relationship becomes an emotional compass, one that keeps guiding us long after childhood. It subtly shapes our adult relationships, our self-worth, even the way we treat ourselves. And most of the time, we don't even realize it's happening. These early experiences continue to influence us quietly but powerfully. Our minds and bodies carry the emotional memory, even when the specific moments are forgotten. Patterns we learned as children can reappear in adulthood, pushing us to repeat choices that no longer serve us. But by bringing these patterns into conscious awareness, we begin to reclaim control. We can understand where our feelings come from and choose behaviors that reflect our deeper values and goals. That's the start of a more fulfilling, self-directed life. Jung believed that when we don't work through these early emotional dynamics, we project them onto others. You might find yourself seeking validation from people who remind you of your mother, or avoiding conflict to keep peace, just like you did as a child. These behaviors aren't random. They're emotional scripts we absorbed long ago. We may not be aware of them, but they shape our relationships and choices every day. At a deeper level, what we're really carrying is the weight of unmet childhood needs, the silent emotional expectations that shape how we see ourselves and others. Even in loving homes, emotional needs can go unmet. Maybe love was tied to success, obedience, or emotional control. Maybe affection came with conditions. Maybe silence was valued more than honesty. When that happens, children learn that love must be earned through perfection, sacrifice, or achievement. And that belief follows us into adulthood. No matter how much we accomplish, it never feels like enough. We're left with a sense of emptiness that achievement can't fix. And that's because the void isn't external, it's internal. Healing it isn't about doing more. It's about understanding where that emptiness comes from and what it truly needs. When we name the source of our pain, we stop chasing fixes outside ourselves and start building authentic self-worth. That path requires self-awareness, compassion, and the courage to face our deepest fears. But when we do, we free ourselves from the endless need for outside approval and find real peace within. If this video is helping you see your own patterns more clearly, consider sharing it with someone who might benefit. Your share might offer them clarity and hope. And if you'd like to support the creation of more content like this, hit the thanks button below. Truly helps. Now, let's keep going. How do we begin to let go of the emotional residue from our past? Jung called this process individuation, the journey of becoming whole. It means discovering who you are beneath the roles you took on to earn love, approval, or protection. It doesn't mean cutting ties or denying your past. It means seeing your mother as she really is, a full, complex human being shaped by her own wounds, not as a symbol of blame or perfection. Ask yourself, who am I when I stop performing? When I stop trying to be what others expect? That question is the doorway to individuation. The answer is often buried beneath years of emotional armor. True transformation begins when we recognize how we've been projecting our mother's role onto others. We often do this unconsciously, expecting partners to make us feel safe, or bosses to provide the approval we craved as kids. But these expectations are echoes of the past. When we project our mother onto others, we hand over our healing to the man that leads to dependency and disempowerment. Real change comes when we reclaim that power. Insight is the first step, but healing happens through action. It unfolds in small, intentional choices we make every day. Pay attention to your emotional triggers. When something hits hard, ask yourself, is this really about now, or is something old being stirred up? Journal about it. Speak it aloud. Bring it into the light. Spend time in quiet reflection. When your inner critic speaks, ask, does this voice belong to me, or did I inherit it? As you begin to see these patterns clearly, you gain the power to choose differently. This journey isn't about becoming someone else, it's about finally coming home to who you've always been, underneath the survival strategies and people-pleasing roles. Slowly, things start to shift. You feel less desperate for outside approval. The urge to prove yourself fades. In its place, a quiet confidence grows. Life still challenges you, but it no longer defines your worth. You realize your mother gave you the first chapter of your story, but the rest is up to you. Her influence helped shape your path, but it no longer determines your future. And as your view of her shifts, so does your relationship. You stop seeing her as a symbol and begin seeing her as a person. Blame softens into compassion. Confusion clears into understanding. She no longer casts a shadow you carry forward. Her lessons, not her pain. When you bring conscious awareness to the mother wound, you don't just heal yourself, you break a cycle. You change what gets passed down. Jung believed healing comes not through denial, but through integration, by seeing fully, feeling deeply, and choosing intentionally. So ask yourself, what part of your story are you ready to take back? What pattern has run its course? And are you finally ready to let it go? If this message resonated with you, drop a comment below. Your insight could be just what someone else needs to hear. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to our channel. Join a community that values depth, clarity, and emotional freedom. Because healing doesn't begin by forgetting your mother. It begins by understanding her. And when you do that, when your real life begins.